So today I'm going to show you our process of how we clean our water. We live in a very small village in Thailand, in northeastern Thailand, and the water in Thailand in general is not filtered to the point where you can drink it. But it is filtered where you can wash in it and brush your teeth, and it's fine. But especially out here where we're living, I don't think, as far as I know and as far as I can see and what I've talked to people about our water supply is it doesn't go through any filtration. Our water supply is from a pond, and the water is pumped up into a water tower and then from there distributed throughout the village. So there's no filtration that happens. So the water that we get sometimes, a lot of the time, has a lot of sediment and bacteria, and viruses. I don't know what's in the water, but it's just pond water. And sometimes during different seasons, it'll be very, very dirty when you turn on the water. Usually it's just when you haven't turned on the water for a while and the sediment and stuff have settled in the pipes. So when you first turn it on, you'll get just brown water coming out. Sometimes it's really difficult. Most of the time it's not terrible. And it's just the water that everybody in our village uses. Yeah, and this is the water that my husband grew up with, and his family still uses it for most everything. But I wasn't really super thrilled with using it to shower, wash my hair, and thinking of all of that being in my hair. I have a lot of hair. And then also, especially with our little one, like having him bathe in pond water. Anyway, so my husband, when we moved here, he figured out a way to help us get clean water, which is what I'm going to show you today. Okay, so we have two water cisterns, small cisterns that my father-in-law built to catch rainwater from the roofs. It's been the dry season, so we haven't even had rain for like 3 months. So right now we're just using the water that is provided to the village from the pond to fill up these cisterns. What we do is we fill up the cistern. Right now we're just using one of them. The other one we're not using. And I'll explain why later. We fill up the cistern with the pond water, and as you can see, it's just yellow. So we fill that up, and I am taking this chlorine, and I put about 1.5 tablespoons of chlorine in, and it kills the bacteria and viruses in the water. And then I take these alum crystals, which I think look really pretty and work like magic. So I put them in this little netted bag that you see. Then I just shake them into the water. I'm making a little bit of a whirlpool in the water, and I'm shaking the alum crystals in the water to dissolve them. And they don't dissolve all the way while I'm using them. So what the alum does, alum is a sulfate salt of aluminum, which has a lot of uses, such as pickling, water purification, like I'm doing right now, and even as deodorant, which I thought was really weird, but when I was looking up the uses, that was one of them. So what alum does is it coagulates all the particles and everything that's in the water. It coagulates them together, and then they sink down to the bottom of the cistern or the whatever you're cleaning water in. So the reason that I'm doing this whirlpool is because as all of the little particles and dust and debris that's in there, as it starts sinking down to the bottom, it will settle down into the middle so that I'll be able to clean it up easier than if it was all over the bottom. So I swirl it around and I get it going into quite a good whirlpool, and then I'll just leave it, and then we wait, and I'll leave it for 4 or 5 hours. It's best if you leave it overnight, but yeah, I think I usually will leave it for about 4 or 5 hours, and then it's okay we'll pump it up. We will pump it with our rusty old pump. We'll pump it up into our water tank that is sitting on our patio that is raised up a little bit. So once I get the water in a good swirl and I feel like it's had enough alum, yes, I said I feel like it's had enough, because I don't know how much alum to put in it. I mean, I do, because I see the results. And I feel like the more I have, then the quicker it goes, the quicker everything settles. But when you go, you can go and buy alum at the store, and usually, I mean, if you were to go into the baking ingredients, pickling section, you would find alum in a powder form, and this is in a crystallized form. So it's not like I can say, oh, 2 tablespoons or something. So I'm just doing it based on my past experience with it, which is having it in the water, I don't know, 3 or 4 minutes, as I'm shaking it around and spinning the water. Yeah, so after I'm done, you can already see that the water is turning kind of like a milky gray color, because the alum is already working and it's congealing everything that's in the water. And so you can already see that working. So then I leave it overnight, 4 or 5 hours to overnight, and voila! We have crystal clear water with a neat little pile of sludge at the bottom, which is always so satisfying to clean up. So what I do is I take, we have a little hose, and I siphon the water through it and create a little vacuum, and I just can suck it up, and it's super satisfying. I wish I could have gotten better shots of that for you. Maybe someday. But yes, that is my favorite part of doing this water cleaning, is vacuuming up the nasties. So I vacuum that up, and I clean up really good around the section where the pump is going to be sitting. And we don't generally have to, during the rainy season and stuff, when we're using both cisterns, we cover the one cistern and we clean the water like I just showed you, and then we connect the 2 cisterns, and so the clean water will go softly and smoothly into the second cistern without disturbing the sediment on the bottom. So then in the other cistern, we'll just have the clean water with nothing on the bottom, and so it's easier to just pump it straight up. And we'll have the top covered so it doesn't get any leaves and stuff falling in it. And The reason we're not doing that now is because, one, it's not the rainy season, so it's just a lot of extra work to be using both cisterns, and it's just easier right now to do that. So now I'm just cleaning up around where the pump is going to be sitting on the bottom, so it's not going to be sucking up the sediment and stuff. But you don't technically have to do that if you have a way to get out the clean water without disturbing the bottom, if that makes sense. So yes, our rusty old pump goes in and we pump it up to the tank, and that's done. This whole process usually takes me 10 to 15 minutes to do, and I only have to do it about twice a week for the amount of water that my family uses. This water goes into our house, and we are using it for just showering, washing dishes, and that's about it. We don't have the washing machine. It would be really nice if we were using it for washing clothes. Right now, the washing machine is still hooked up to the general water supply, which is a problem because the washing machine filter is all gunked up. And anyway, that's another story. But yes, it would be nice to have the washing machine hooked up to this water. And I think when we can build up our water tank higher, then we will do that, because the problem is we don't have enough water pressure coming out of our water tank now to be filling up the washing machine. Yeah, so I do it about twice a week, and it's really easy. So I hope this video was helpful to some of you, or at least entertaining. And that's about it that we have for today. So keep things simple, find joy in the little things, and love with your whole heart. See you next time.